Hello, I'm Michael from the GreatWhiteNorth, and today we are starting a new game. Welcome to Let's Play Eureka seveN Volume 2, The New Vision, the sequel to Volume 1, The New Wave, which we played quite a while ago now. And this one kind of kicks off right away from where we ended last time. It will be giving us a bit of a reminder and recap. This is going to be a bit of a different Let's Play, as I probably won't be talking as much, as there's a lot of voiced sections, and I want you guys to be able to hear those. Before we get into it though, we have the option to import our save data from the first game, and that is something we're going to do. It unlocks some things. Mostly just side stuff. It doesn't have anything to do with the story, but I'll just let you guys read all the things that we are going to get to look at later. So the Flesnia, we don't know what that is just yet. The Monsuno Type 10, as well as the Nirvash, Pookie, Jillian, and Renton and Eureka. But we'll see that later.
There's a good chance that you've been told that I'm dead. Don't worry. This isn't a letter from beyond the grave. I'm alive. But to protect the family's good name, they listed me as killed in action instead of deserter. Maybe you'll call me a fool. But if I'd have stayed in the military, I would have lost touch with the real me. One person made me realize this about myself. It breaks my heart thinking about my teammates, but I don't regret leaving. I met someone special, and I made up my mind then to live life on my own terms. Did I ever tell you about her? You know, the girl who got me into lifting? I met her that one time, and then, just like that, we went our separate ways. Back then, I thought anything was possible. I was sure I'd run into her again, eventually. And so, I waited and waited at a special place we promised to meet. But then, she never showed up. After that, I lost it all. The place I called home, and everything else I believed in. And now, even lifting is just a job to me. Being a pro sounds nice, but to me, sport lifting's just a way to keep me fed. Have you made your dreams come true yet? I came close to making mine come true. But these days, I don't know. I think I'm starting to forget the way that I felt back then. That's why I wanted to tell someone about these feelings I've been having. Before they fade away from me forever.
Look to the sky, folks. It's showtime! Let's start things off with a demo of the latest Azure-made LFO, the Flesnia. Its stylish design could only come from Azure, the most popular brand. What's that? Are its looks deceiving? Hey now, don't be silly. This baby's loaded with technology that the military LFOs can't hold a candle to. That's what the Flesnia is all about, Jack. We've got limited edition merchandise on sale right now in the stadium. You better hurry, though, because it's going fast.
Whoa, look over there! Roddy Flame, it's really him!
No duh, this is an Azure-sponsored event.
What's your problem, man? He's a celebrity! He's Azure's founder! Why shouldn't I be excited?
You're such a fanboy, Wes.
But he's so cool! He's the perfect lifter for the last running of the Bester Cup.
You know, after lifting, LFOs are big business. What's wrong?
Nothing. It just seems different now, that's all. The last Bester Cup I lifted in seems like so long ago.
That just shows how far you've come. I still can't believe you turned pro.
Back when I started lifting, I sure had you working on my board a lot, didn't I, Emil?
That sure takes me back. Anyway, I'm real glad I got to see you again.
And I was the one who called him.
I had to show up today. I even entered the race. The Bester Cup is special to me.
Hey, Sumner, you really entered today's race?
I sure did. I had no idea who'd be watching, so I entered as BB.
Still thinking about old times, huh? Here, it's all done.
This looks great. You haven't lost your touch, Emil. Thanks.
No sweat, Sumner.
So, what say we get going?
Yeah. I guess I failed the drug inspection.
Come on, Wes.
I told them it was vitamins, but they didn't believe me.
Well, with your record, I'm not surprised.
That's why I called you, Sumner. You get a wheel for participating, and I want one real bad.
What, you want me to stand in for you?
Well, it looks like you're real serious about winning. You even have a compact drive.
Hmm?
That LFO over there is the top prize, right?
Oh, it is?
Wait, don't tell me you didn't know about it.
Anyway, win big and then do a little advertising for our shop, okay?
Well, don't make it sound so easy. But, alright.
I'll be the one to say it first. That man needs to pilot LFOs again.
Oh yeah, you really think so?
So now we actually get gameplay. I will be cutting out most of the loading screens, as every single time it fades to black, it's most likely doing a loading screen. So, right now what we actually want to do is ask to take a look at this new Flesnia, but we kind of want to go around and talk to people first, because it's going to give us a bit of an idea of kind of the world building that's going on right here. In the last cutscene you saw Emil. She's new to the series, and is implied to have been the one to help Sumner kind of get into the pro circuit. Wes, and you saw his ice lips. Jacket was someone we met back in Bester the first time we were here before. He kind of ended up in the gang wars that were plaguing this area back then, and it looks like he still has ties to the ice lips themselves. Of course, he ended up turning on his boss, and we captured the bad guy. But now he's kind of a friendly guy, though it seems he kind of has a drug problem, which isn't really good. So, what we kind of learned around here is that lifting has kind of become boring to the people, I guess. It's kind of losing its fad drama. And here we can see Kylie. Nice to see she is out of prison now for murdering the gang leader before. You may remember last time we won the Bester Cup, we actually used our prize money to fix up her shop. So, as there seems to be a big name now, we saw his founder and someone talking to him before. They'll come into the story later. For now, we're just kind of focusing on our job as a professional lifter. We gotta win this race. This game doesn't give you any tutorials. Unlike the first game, it kind of expects you to have played the original, so you kind of get thrown right into things, not just with the LFOs, but within this race as well. There's actually quite a few people around here. It's nice to actually make the world feel like it's populated, even though the areas are quite tiny. And I actually get lost at first. Kind of expected us to be able to talk to this guy, but we can't. We also can't leave and go talk to those very still people out in the background. So, as we walk around here, Wes mentioned the compact drive. That's actually what's used to run the LFO. You can kind of think of it as the power ignition. There's a lot of backstory to what it means and what it does and everything, but we don't really need to talk about that for the game. Basically, we just need a compact drive to run most electronic vehicles. Which, Sumner brought one, which implies that he wants to win this. Like Wes said, he really needs to get back into the LFOs. He probably hasn't really driven one since the Nirvash, really.
If I could only get my hands on an LFO again, maybe it'd get that old feeling back into me.
Hey, keep your filthy hands off that man! Bing's the one who's gonna win this baby today. What? You want to start something with Bing?
Lifting will decide that.
You should save that big shot talk for after the elimination round. Besides, everyone knows Bing's gonna win.
The Bester Cup preliminary round is about to begin. All lifters who are registered gather at the starting gate. The Bester Cup's third elimination round is beginning. The winners will advance to the finals. It's the first step to getting an LFO. We're finally about to start. On your mark. Get set. Go!
Okay, so lifting. Standard flight controls, you push forward on the stick to go downwards and back to go up. There's a couple things going on the screen here. You can see our place as well, how many laps, the map in the bottom left. On the bottom right we have our HP and our basically boost. You press X to boost, and to refill it, you either wait for it to come back up or you do tricks by holding the square button and spinning. Doing any combination of 3 spins is kind of the biggest way to increase that. If you're good, you can also use it to aim yourself on a turn and hopefully not do what I did. Thankfully if you wipe out, you get right back up on your board. What's a good way to do this is to kind of burst with a bunch of speed and then wait for it to kind of get back up. The race itself isn't that difficult, though it's kind of hard over here. As you can see, if you kind of lose your momentum, it kind of gets really hard to get back on your feet. The last thing on the screen is you can see on the top right, our lift meter is blue. Out of story and within the game only, well, I guess technically in the story as well, it's difficult to lift when there's not as much trapper particles in the air. The higher up you go, the less there is, and the harder it is to lift. You lose your speed as well, and probably even wipe out. Closer to the ground there is more. Of course, in the story and anime, they can lift up as high as they want without too much difficulty, but if you're in an area of the world that has a low amount of trapper particles, it can be very difficult to lift. And if you run out of boost, doing tricks actually does not refill it automatically, so that's something to keep in mind if you're doing these races. But we are in first now, and we're probably going to win this as is. This is actually the map that we played back in the first game. So like that, there was a shortcut over here, but it's just as difficult to get into. It's probably a safer bet to not even waste your time on that. As you can see, it kind of puts me in a bad spot as I'm now in 4th on the last lap. It is different, however. Before there was not that underground tunnel section, instead it went somewhere else. So that's something a little different, though it's still a pretty difficult map to kind of traverse, especially if you haven't played the first game in a while. And just like before, these buildings are tiny compared to us. So when we're over here, we kind of just want to stay close to the ground, keep our speed up, remember to turn, and yeah. And before we saw Bing, yeah, he's kind of our little rival here. He wants to win that Flesnia real bad, but we're not going to let him. We're going to win this without any competition whatsoever. Down here I don't recommend boosting too much just because it'd be very easy to hit the walls. Right here's a little boost that does get us up just quicker. And here we are.
Phoebe wins the round. This concludes the last of the eliminations. The odds for the final race will be posted soon. Put lots of money down, folks, because you might be the next millionaire.
And we got a rank B and a little bit of money. It's going to be a long time before we can access a shop to actually use any of this money, though. It's kind of unfortunate. But it'll rack up a lot. And for right now, for some reason, my controller just was not working. I'm mashing X to go next, and it just doesn't want to. Eventually it will, though.
Congrats on making it through the elimination round. I knew I should have put some money on you.
The course sure has changed.
The military took half of it. They say the rest is going to be turned into a training ground soon.
So that's why it's the final race.
That's right. In the old days, I doubt the lifters would have let this happen.
No one really lifts anymore. Who knows where it's headed?
Lifting will make a comeback sooner or later.
Everything's been crazy lately. Lots of really scary stuff going on. You got the crustal upheavals and the Vodorak.
Well, for now, just worry about winning!
Yeah, you're right. Thanks a lot, Emil. I really appreciate it. Where's Wes?
He's working.
Huh?
let me introduce myself. My name's Collins, and I think you've got talent.
Thank you.
So, you want to follow me then? Things have been getting ugly lately with all the terrorism, huh? They even scraped up a bunch of junk like this to beef up security. LFOs are in short supply everywhere. You can't get them through normal channels. And the Azure LFOs come at a premium.
What is it you're trying to say?
I'm saying, let Bing win the big championship race, and you and me'll make a ton of money on it, Sumner. You get money in your pocket, we get the LFO, baby.
Get lost.
I'm not saying to do it for free. How's this much sound? Nice round figure, ain't it? Hell, all the other lifters were happy to sign on.
Oh, they were they?
Lift good enough to make it look real. I'm counting on you.
Hey,
If you happen to cross the finish line before Bing, let's just say that once we're done with you, you'll never lift again.
crap.
It's the time we've all been waiting for. All racers who cleared the elimination round, please hurry to the starting grid. The last finals of the Bester Cup are about to begin. This looks to be the most hotly contested race in Cup history. Do you have any money left? I have no idea how this race will end. Enjoy this race because there'll never be another.
So, you made it too, huh? You heard from Collins, right? Just stick close to that masked blonde guy. And don't get any funny ideas. Bing's the one who's gonna win this.
But I want to pilot an LFO again. For now, just keep thinking about winning, Sumner.
Okay, lifters, let's begin. Are you ready? On your mark. Get set. Go!
So, now we're going up against Bing himself, as well as a masked blonde kid. So there's actually 5 racers in this race instead of the 4 that there were before. Nothing really new changes here. You kind of want to do the same thing. Stay away from that shortcut unless you really feel strongly about it. Otherwise, just keep boosting and take the corners very sharp and try not to get too close to the opponents so that doesn't happen to you. There's 3 laps this time though, so make sure to be ready for that. Don't want to stop playing at the 2nd lap. So, the other racers seem to have been bought off, so Bing can win the LFO. Don't know why Collins himself really wants Bing to win so much. I'm more of a Google guy myself. Oh, we're now down to 4 people instead of 5. Someone's missing. But none of that. We're in first. Normally you can't see trappers like that, so when you do see them, you kind of want to get to them to get a nice boost of speed. I don't really think that's how trappers work or anything, but hey, what do you know? I say you don't normally see them. They're set in the same locations in the race every time. I mean, within the story, you don't see trappers usually just making a pathway like that. The person who dropped out of the race here is actually the masked blonde kid, and I'm sure we'll see more of him later. If you got a good look at him, you might recognize him from the anime. You see a trapper kind of shooting out up there, that one would kind of throw you into the wall, so it's a good idea to stay lower to the ground.
He caught a good wave and has put on a huge burst of speed.
But at this point, we're just so far ahead. It would be amazing if anyone, even Bing himself, the Bing, could possibly catch up. And like I said, since the game doesn't really tell you how to play, I think there might be tutorials from the main menu, which is kind of nice. Let you do tutorials there instead of within the story and kind of focus more on the gameplay aspect itself. One of my major complaints from the first game is that the beginning episode is so much tutorial. It's just nothing but tutorial. It's nice to kind of see a little bit more, more of the gameplay just kind of jumping right into it. So, we're just about finished the second lap here. Just have to get up and then we'll be on our third. And that's kind of one of the dangers. You don't really want to hit the end of the trapper fire or else you kind of get thrown away like that. But the announcer said the tension's unbearable. They're probably right behind us, but as long as we just stick ahead, it's going to be fine. It's not exactly difficult despite being the hard map from the first game. It is just the start of this one, so it's kind of pretty simple. And I think in the first game, the enemies actually used the shortcuts. There was initially 2 shortcuts to this map before. Now there's just the one. But they don't really take it this time. I would have thought Bing would have, or maybe the masked blonde kid. But no, so as long as you stay ahead, you're kind of just ahead. And we have our HP here. That HP isn't really for the races. It's the same UI as there would be for parts of the game where we can fight people outside of our LFO. As you see there, my lift went yellow for a second. I kind of went a little too high. Oh, Bing shot ahead.
He caught a good wave and has put on a huge burst of speed.
And I turned a little too hard. It is pretty sensitive. But we're ahead again. As long as we don't royally mess up now, we've kind of got this one in the bag, and then we have an LFO of our own, and hopefully our legs aren't broken.
Now he's in the final straightaway, and he's crossed the finish line. The winner is BB. He's the final champion of the Master Cup.
And that'll be it for this time. We've won our LFO. And I'll see you in the next video.